Hello friends, my name is Jose Luis. This time I want to show you how to glue melamine edge banding, and also how to screw in a very homemade way. Which is very good, does not peel off, and I'm also going to show you how to place the screws so that the plugs don't fall out. I hope you like it, and let's get to work. Melamine boards always have one side and one back. The back is where the saw blade comes from, and it always splinters a little bit. Then, that you have to pay attention to, there we present it and mark the edges that we want to paste. There I passed a 180 sandpaper. We can clean it with a brush or with a torch, always parallel to the cut of the sandpaper, so that it does not round. And we look at what we marked to paste, and we cut the edge banding a little longer. This is an edge banding that already comes with the adhesive incorporated, which is for hot gluing. There we look for 2 presses. We always affirm the piece that we are going to paste. We present it, we center it well, we put a piece of paper and iron it several times, the iron with maximum heat. There we spent a little more on the edge. And in cases like this, that both sides have to be glued, we always have to start by gluing one, cut it out, and then glue the other side. And if necessary 3 sides, the same, you have to hit by part. And to cut the tip, we cut it with the chisel. We put the part of the chisel incline inwards, even and hit it a little, and cut it with the knife. We make enter from the point of the trench. He bent her down and lowered her, and I go back to pass the plate inclined at the vertices. And I cut him again with the chisel. It can also be cut very carefully with the knife. There you can see again how I make him enter on point and lower him with a knife. They will take into account that the edge of the knife must always be parallel to the melamine. And I go over it again in the edge. Well, there we are going to glue the other edge banding that needed to be glued, because it was the piece to which I used to glue on 2 edges. Then we cut it and there we go back to glue the edge that we were missing. We wait for it to cool down, and we cut it again. Now I want to show you, like passing the iron, after the glue is cut, it adheres again, and there you can see how it adheres completely. It adheres because the glue from below escapes a little and it is completely glued. There I show you how the glue escapes a little. We always raise it to work. There we began to polish the edges a little, for that we check if it is well cut flush, and we sand it. We sand it with 180, and if we see that it is a little long, we are going to pass it the fork. We go over it a little bit. We cleaned it with the knife again because it spit out a little bit of glue. We sanded it and I removed the glue, always with my fingers, or it can also be removed with a dry cloth. You have to be careful with the glue because sometimes it deceives us, and we keep sandpapering it and the glue doesn't want to come off with the sandpaper, and there the background of the melamine begins to appear, because we sanded too much. Well, here we present, where we are going to screw, and mark for 3 screws. We mark the center of the melamine that is 18 millimeters, which would be 9 millimeters, and on the edges, we do it at 2.5 centimeters, not least because if not, the melamine MDF can crack, and for milling, they must be very careful, because it has to be just right for the screw head, nothing more. You don't have to go further in, that's the key so that the caps don't fall out when placing later. That's the trick. That it always has to be flush with the head. And also the other detail is that with the guide bit that is going to be drilled, the entire depth of the screw that is going to be placed has to enter, or if not, the melamine will also crack. There we are going to drill the entire depth of the screw, there we place it. We also have to regulate the force of the screwdriver, because if we are not going to hide our heads deeper inside. A little, we can give them a little tap so that they settle in. Once we have settled in, then we pierce the others with the guide weight. There we can screw it with less force to the screwdriver, and we can even end up with a screwdriver by hand so that the head is even. I recommend that until we grasp the technique with more practice. Here I have the caps. There are others that come with glue, but I always used to put these, because they are much better. There at first it seems that it was loose. What happens is that if the head of the screw goes deeper, they made a mistake. There is no point in solving it, later it will fall off. But if they do it that way, you see how a small part protrudes, there you nail it with a hammer, just a tap, not very hard, gently, and then you notice how the melamine gently takes hold with the tap, and it doesn't fall. As you can see, it's perfect. I usually clean the melamine with detergent, or in this case I use CIF, wet, with a damp cloth. I had a good time. I let the dirt loosen and let it rest for a while, and I grab a dry rag and wipe it, and it cleans perfectly. Good friends, this was all for today. I hope you find it useful and that you liked it. Any questions you have, comment. I'll be answering them. See you in the next video. Bye bye.